Hey, we are back here at the Legends Lounge with the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. I'm your host, Dan Egan. And tonight, as always, it's another legend. And this is a fun one, as most of them are when it comes to freestyle skiing and the impact in the sport, the industry. There's no bigger than Bobbie Burns. Bobbie really impacted all that we do in the early films. He developed his own ski, and then he just had his own personality and style. And he did it all in the birthplace of skiing in America, Sun Valley. As always, first up is the executive director of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, Justin. Yo, Justin.
Dan, how are we tonight?
Oh, we're excited. Bobbie Burns recently elected into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, a legend beyond legends. This man has had a lot of impact.
Lots of impact, lots of connections. Like everybody in the Legends Lounge, Dan, it's a who's who of the ski industry. One big web with everybody connected, and these skis over my shoulder here with Bobbie, I think connect more skiers than we might think with the ski and what it meant and when it came to market and who was on it and all that stuff inspired by Bobbie, and really excited to have a little panel of guests to talk about Bobbie's career, stories of Bobbie's, and all things the ski and beyond that with what he did. We're happy to have him as one of our elects, and happy to get into his life on the Legends Lounge here.
Absolutely. And when you look at the ski just over your shoulder, the ski, really with no words, just that design on the skis, you know what they are. It's so impactful and for so long. And of course, Scott skis later came out and remade those skis. But originally, Bobbie made them to be soft, to be fluid, to be fun. And of course, he made them for freestyle skiers like like Alan, who dressed up and skied in his ballet on those skis, Alan Schoenberger. So we do, as Justin mentioned, we have a great panel tonight to talk about Bobbie and his impact in the career. And first up is a freestyle legend of herself. It's Genya Fuller. Genya, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you. And of course, as an honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame yourself, and really had an impact yourself in the world of freestyle skiing. Now, most people think that combined skiing were 3 events, but actually for you, it was 4 events. Tell us about that.
Okay. It was ballet, it was aerials, and it was mogul skiing, with the big package and the big prize being the overall trophy. And to me, that the sport of freestyle will always be those 3 events plus the combined. And you had to be stronger and you had to be good. And it wasn't sloughing it. You had to be good in all 3 in order to garner that overall title, which is what the challenge was to me. And of course, I like a challenge. So that was special. That was really special.
Of course, we had Christy Porter on earlier in the Legends Lounge, and she also was a combined champion in freestyle, aerials, moguls, and ballet, which really you're the pioneer of that. And when you think of your own career and the impact that Bobbie Burns had on it, tell us about that.
Well, I remember watching. I could not wait until the next or the newest Warren Miller film or Dick Barrymore film or Roger Brown film came out or was presented in some format, and I would just sit and drool. I wanted to do that. I wanted to be there. And what I remember of Bobbie is that he was fun. He was magical on the slope. And I watched all these guys, the K2 demo team and so many others that just encouraged and fueled my fire for what I wanted to do. And Bobbie was kind of the king of that one, because I think one word to sum Bobbie up is joy. He just epitomized joy of the sport, joy in the slope, joy in completing an exciting run. And that's, that's what I remember about Bobbie. The logo, the sweaters, the ski, the competitors that he had on the skis, it all was just such a complete package, but it all culminated with, being joyful in presenting the sport and just loving what we all did.
I think Bobbie definitely packaged it up and sold it well, and it was all part of his personality. Also on our panel tonight, we have Dick Dorworth, honored member of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, longtime ski racer, world record speed skiing holder, and ski school director. Dick, how you doing tonight?
I'm fine tonight. I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
It's you mentioned earlier to me that you were a traditional ski racer, but I'm going to argue that a traditional ski racer with an eye for speed and speed skiing really ahead of your time with that.
Well, yeah, speed skiing. I got into speed skiing because of my friend Ron Funk, who had been a speed skier, and Ron got me into it, and we were very good friends, and so that got me into that. But what I meant by when I said I was a traditional French technique skier is that Bobbie's skiing and my skiing were so different, and yet we wound up being roommates in Sun Valley when we were employees there. And we were immediate good friends. We've been friends since we met, but our skiing was totally different. And I have to admit, I know very little about freestyle skiing. I mean, I never participated in any of that. And those guys out there in their fancy costumes, sitting on their heels with their hands in the air. That was not my kind of skiing. But Bobbie was, as Genya pointed out, one of the things about Bobbie is that he had more fun than anyone else. And I mean, that's what he was about. And when we were in Sun Valley racing and he was just skiing around, nobody knew him for what he was. We watched him ski, and he and I would stay up at night and talk about all sorts of stuff. He's a brilliant person. And then we go out to ski, and he did everything wrong by our knowledge of technique. And yet none of us could even come close to skiing the bumps on exhibition at all, much less the way he did it. So from the beginning, Bobbie, revolutionized, and I think he invented freestyle skiing. And Dick Barrymore, of course, has said several times that when he first saw Bobbie skiing exhibition, it changed his life as a filmmaker. He went, there it is, and there it was, and the rest is history. Yeah.
So often I think our skiing styles reflect our own personalities, and Bobbie Burns is a strong personality. Just to drive that home, let's watch a little video of Bobbie Burns.
We came here and it was an airlines week, and Barrymore said, what can we do to, get to, we had a band and everything, we're doing the performers, and I said, what we should do is let's do a t-shirt contest, and we'll have a degree of difficulty. I don't know if I came up, one of the guys came up, and first thing I said, I was a platform diver before I skied. I didn't ski till I was like 20, and I said, let's do a degree of difficulty. And, if they keep their t-shirt on, So we spread it around to all the people in the airlines that we were going to have a t-shirt contest in the boiler room. And we got Bill Jans to be a judge, Warren Miller, of course, Barrymore, all these people. And the airlines, we built it up big. We did K2 stickers so that I said, somebody takes it off. They put stickers over it. And one thing led to another, and that guy asked me if it was okay if a guy from Playboy came and wrote a story. And this guy that owns Cummins Engines, a head of Use for Christ. And they filmed it all. And the girls took off everything. And it turned into a big phenomena of t-shirt contests around every skier. And Barry's called me on the phone and said, Cummins Engine had called me. He said, I think you maybe need to go get a job at another place. And the reason I do everything, and I ski with, 60-inch poles, is everything in ballet is here. Everything shoulder height. And the main thing about ballet is your body follows your head and your eyes, and the main thing are hands. And I found that I could ski this run when it had huge bumps, standing up straight, but with ankle pressure, and be able to keep my balance with my hands and my eyes. And I did a ballet ski for Alan Schoenberger with the tips and the tails turn, the tails turn up so he could win the ballet. Ballet's something that's going to come back. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my poles that I've got. They're about this big, but there's ballet. Have you ever seen a guy that's really good at ballet on skis? It's amazing what they can do on skis. It's like ice skates. They do stuff that ice skaters do. And the skiing has come equipment. I mean, sure, we've all gotten better. Every sport's better. Michael Jordan, there'll be another guy better than Michael Jordan. It's just, and Tiger Woods. But product is a big part of Tigers.
So you called the Fat Albert, your skis, pleasure skis.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you call them pleasure skis?
Because a ski should be for pleasure, not for racing and turmoil and anger and blame the ski. I had a friend that used to blame his skis or his poles or his boots for every fall. And skiing's for fun. It's for pleasure. And I figure you've got to make it a happy, fun ski because that's what we do. That's why we do it. And it doesn't matter how good you are. It matters how much fun you have and how much pleasure you have. And, the whole thing is just, going out and acting like you know what you're doing. We all do,
And there's no bigger personality than Bobbie Burns, that's for sure. And the spirit behind it all is so much fun. And, of course, Dick Barrymore captured that in his films, and Bobbie displayed it so well. Genya, I think when you see that and you see the energy and you just see the attitude he brings to skiing, it was easy to see how contagious that was.
Well, when I was growing up and I was like 14, 15, 16 years old, 17 maybe, watching these films, I finally got to go to Sun Valley in 73 for nationals. And I actually met Bobbie and watched him ski, and I was just in awe. I'm a kid, but I was just in awe of, again, the joy. That's the word that I think of when I think of Bobbie Burns, the joy and the fun of what he did. And he just exuded that and shared it with everyone. And I remember watching him ski exhibition, because I sure couldn't at that point. But I mean, he was amazing. He would just all the way down, and with the side cut on exhibition, it's tough to do that and look good. Without a few bobbles here and there. But no, Bobbie could do the whole thing time and time again with that joy and exuberance that he gave to everybody.
And Dick, I love how he described his stance being tall, being centered with ankle pressure. I mean, ultimately, it all comes down to an athletic stance to remain in that balance. And when you see that as a ski racer, it's almost like, oh, there's another way, right? It's sort of like different.
Very different, and he certainly expanded racing as well as freestyle skiing because he did some coaching, and he I think one of his famous quotes is that racing never interested him because you had to slow down and make all those turns around those gates.
I love the idea that you guys are roommates in the employee housing at Sun Valley. I'm sure those stories are still echoing off the walls.
Yes, we had a good time, and that was in the days when Harriman and Union Pacific owned Sun Valley. So it was a dirtbag ski bum's dream, because you got room and board and a lift pass and a few bucks every month. And what more did you need if you wanted to ski? Yeah. So
It's
Bobby and I were soulmates, if not ski mates. Yeah.
And of course, Bobbie Burns influencing an entire generation and then some. And imagine that starting that there in Sun Valley, and the sport of freestyle skiing all the way to the Olympics. And Genya, for you, as that started to develop and become a little bit more formalized, did you have a vision for how these disciplines were going to play out and the sport be moved on and towards the games?
Well, we had a number of meetings. We have a number of meetings with the women, and I have some friends in fairly high places within figure skating, very old family friends. So we got the rule book. I was able to get a copy of the rule book, and we talked about scoring and technical merit and artistic merit. Having two sets of marks, because they're definitely, there's so many different ways to ski it. And I never wanted it to be costumey. The flow to me, and my dad being a figure skating judge, I liked the flow from move to move with content in between, not these big start and stop. Here we'll go for 50 feet and then we'll do a trick. We'll go another 50 feet and then we'll do a trick. When we started out, we would do tricks from top to bottom and always have that flow in between with something going on, an arm position or a change of edge or a change of direction. I do pole flips. I can never do pole flip. I've said it in public here. But I mean, they're fabulous. They're amazing. But there needed to be a way to tie them in better instead of the start-stop type of thing. So I wanted it to move forward, with more of the skating criteria. And some of it works and some of it doesn't work for that particular sport. But, we tried to come up with ideas and ways to do that.
And of course, Justin, Bobbie joining the Hall of Fame, enters, the hall with the likes of Wayne Wong and John Clondenin and so many other freestyle legends that all have roots back to Bobbie Burns.
Yeah, the inpouring, if you will, of support from not only Hall of Fame alumni and people like Genya, who we've got on the panel today, Bad Bob Salerno, but even your modern, more gear geek type people. Our good friend Phil Puglisi, for example, just idolize Bobbie, and whether it's the gear, whether it's the style, whether it's some combination of the two, whether it's the innovation, the energy, the fun. I learn this stuff as we go too. My question would be, did Bobbie always have the hair? Because that hair is epically amazing.
Yes, always. Always.
I see somebody like Salerno on that 2015, I believe, Scott reenactment of Bobbie's ski. Skis very similar.
Mark Siegemeyer was on them at the demo we did at Spa.
Yep, yeah. Mark. I was flying down. This has only happened ever to me once. Maybe it's happened to one of you guys, but I was skiing with a group of people out at Deer Valley. Bad Bob happened to be in there. I was second or third coming down, holding my own, and all of a sudden I had a skier coming straight back up at the hill at me. And he did this giant full circle like this. And it was Alan. It was Alan Schoenberger on these short skis that Willie Bogner gave him with a 3-carat diamond in each tip. And it took me back because I was like, how does a guy come back around? He did a full circle around 3 or 4 of us in the group that weren't too far behind him. But to see the way Bob skis, for example, Bob took me under his wing 5 years ago, Salerno I'm talking about. And he taught me at the time, I thought it was, sort of skiing like Stein or skiing like Bad Bob. I was watching Bob and learning from him, and now watching the clip of Bobbie, I can see where the influence to have Bob ski with his feet the way Bob skis being from likely Bobby and other sources, it's just really cool to see and pick up on that, Dan.
You know, Dick, when you as a ski racer and as a coach, you know, see potential in people and kind of see the future, and then to be the ski school director at Aspen for so long, when you were seeing Bobbie Burns ski, did you see the potential in what he was doing, and did you see a future for that style, and then see it develop when you were at Aspen?
Well, I was in Aspen a long time after I saw Bobbie ski first. I mean, decades later, and by then his influence on skiing had taken over. And yes, in Aspen, his influence was evident. In the ski school, there were a lot of people on the ski school who were clearly influenced by him as free skiers. But when I first, you know, knew him in the 60s and we were in Sun Valley, I knew that this was something totally new, but I had no idea where it would go, or I had no idea what he would do with skis or any of that. I just knew that he was phenomenal, and he was such a good friend and so enjoyable to be with. As he said, you know, it's about having pleasure and having fun, and we had a lot of fun together. Yeah.
Of course, his skis were the ski, and as I mentioned earlier, Scott Skis remade a version of Bob's ski, and that's going to be the next video we see now.
Hi, I'm Bobbie Burns, and I'm standing here in Sun Valley, Idaho, underneath the first chairlift in the world.
Sun Valley, the birthplace of Scott Sports, is a community that was built around the ski industry and has produced some of the sport's most influential members. Bobbie Burns, aka the Snow Goose, world-renowned as the first ever hot dogger, is one such member.
I basically started the ski company in Sun Valley, Idaho, and Ed Scott started Scott, and he was one of the idols of my life. He taught me a lot about skis.
In a time when racing was supreme, Burns looked beyond the gates, and with a unique style all his own, opened people's eyes to the endless possibilities that this new freestyle movement offered. It wasn't long before Bobbie realized the limitations of the products available, and began developing his own skis. These skis enabled him to further progress this movement. Enter the Ski, Burns' flagship model that quickly became a staple on the freestyle competition circuit.
My style of skiing, I made a ski that I thought would work for me. So I basically made a ski that was very soft lengthwise and very stiff torsionally. No one at that point in time was making a ski with that type of flex and torsion. Because it skied the way it didn't, I did compete in a couple events, and guys found out I could do things on my skis that the other guys couldn't, but it wasn't because they didn't have the ability, they didn't have the skis I had.
Inspired by both the story of the original, the ski, and Bobbie's famous credo, have fun no matter what, Scott's senior project manager, Hervé Menant, approached Burns with the idea of the new partnership. Hervé's vision was to pay homage to the name and the graphical direction of Burns' ski by bringing it back to life on a revolutionary new model of all-condition ski he had developed.
You do this kind of project achievement, one ski for all, which performs, forgive, and help every kind of skiers to ski on. The first characteristic is the side cut of that ski. Then we are working with a specific side cut, 3D as we call. 3D means it's two radius, front and rear, but connect and cut it in the middle by a parallel. And the parallel side cut means no side cut underfoot. And that allows a lot rolling the skis, side slipping the skis, and whenever you go on the edge, you can really apply on the ski and get all the power of the construction.
Yeah, the principal starting point of that story with Bobbie was ski for doing everything, a kind of all-condition ski, but perfectly achieved with performance, forgiveness, and all-terrain capability.
Ultimately, Hervé achieved his goal by developing Scott's The Ski, an award-winning ski with unmatched performance that conveys both Burns and Scott's founding principle of having as much fun as you can on a pair of skis, no matter what.
The ski company. It's such a great name itself. And of course, Bobbie Burns was the complete package. And as we mentioned before, the logo and just how we did the color blocks are legendary. Justin, we have another guest we're going to bring on the show. You want to introduce Charlie?
We do. I'd be happy to. We've got a longtime colleague, friend, and lifelong buddy of Bobbie's, Charlie McDaniels, who just popped in to join us.
So we've got Charlie back on the line here. And Charlie, tell us about your relationship with Bobbie Burns and what a special person he is.
Who? I've known Bob since I think about 65. That's when I first met him here. And he was tending bar on the Ram. At the time, I was racing. And we became good friends, ski together, spent a lot of time together. And then as years went on, he used to go to a few races with me and race. Some fun races. Anyway, we just became good friends for a long time. Like I said, spending a lot of time skiing together and doing things together. And then eventually I wound up in the freestyle end of skiing because of a film that we did with Dick back in 71. And then I wound up at K2 and ran all the racing and freestyle programs. And so I continued my friendship with Bob over the years while he was at K2, and then also when he started building his own ski, the ski, which I did ski on a couple of years. He made a special pair of skis for me that were 207s because I needed longer skis for my background. And to this day, we're still friends. I don't know if you have any questions that you want to ask me about him, but I'd be glad to answer anything.
Well, when you were with K2 and Bobbie started to make the ski, were there a lot of differences in sort of the technologies that were being applied to manufacturing at that time, and what was he doing that was different from K2?
Well, his skis they catered more to freestyle skiing, and whereas K2 at the time was doing more racing, he did some things a little bit differently, definitely. One thing about Bob, I remember in his early days at K2, he wanted to try and make a ski that had a lot of side cut to it, which today that's what skis are. But at the time, I think they ran into an issue because they didn't have the materials at the time to make a ski work that way, even though he was convinced that that was the way it would have to be done in the future. I think that's a little bit what he got into when he left and when it started developing his own ski, is laying them up somewhat different than K2s, so they perform differently. And you have to ask him exactly what that was.
Well, I love the fact we've been talking a lot tonight. Of course, Bobbie Burns was a visionary, and he knew how to package, and he had some foresight into things like side cut, into things like flex torsionally, and width lengthwise as well. And I think that really shows in his personality and how he approached life.
Exactly. He was very unique in a lot of things that he did in life over the years, not only in the ski world, but in the clothing world. And so he made quite a name for himself. Bob also had a few people that didn't quite agree with him on a few things over the years. I won't mention any names at this time, but it happens to all of us, I'm sure. But he was very unique, definitely. His skiing and his designs, everything were Bobbie and Bobbie's alone. So.
Absolutely. And when you see freestyle skiing today, and of course free ride today in the park and the pipe, and big mountain free skiing. Do you see sort of that roots going all the way back to Bobbie Burns?
Yeah, I guess you could say that definitely would. Not, you know, there's a lot of people that were involved over the years of developing skis of all different sorts of sizes and shapes, and for every different style of skiing. Bobbie definitely was ahead of his time in some of the stuff he developed. But then again, there was other people that came along that did some of the very similar things that were also excellent. Even K2 got into it after Bob left and started developing a lot of skis for freestyle. And obviously, based on the size of the team that I had at the time and how many of them were on K2s, and they did quite well. So.
Absolutely. And I love that about the collective consciousness of ideas that go around. And the ski industry is definitely a place where that happens, and it happens a lot. You know, so, you know, of course, here we are with Scott developing a ski after the Bobbie Burns ski, and the ski for everyone. And I think that's what sort of was the idea behind freestyle skiing. Was it was sort of welcoming, and it broadened the reach. Again, you must have really saw that yourself when you toured in your career and skied for Bogner and all the different films you were in. Freestyle hat was addicting, right?
It was definitely addicting, and it is even very addicting now. Perfect example was the demo we did at Squaw Valley when we had the junior racing teams watching from the top of the ballet run. They all wanted to learn it right then and there. They wanted to learn how to do ballet. It was really funny. It was really cute. But I mean, the evolution of, of maneuvers and equipment, if you think about it, the bump that freestyle gave equipment and clothing in that era was huge. You know how much equipment we sold? Because we made it fun. We made it fun stuff.
Absolutely. And I think that ballet skiing ties back to how we see today, how we go backwards today, and the twin tip and all that sort of transition. Dick, you know, if you had to sum up Bobbie's personality, I know that's a big question. How would you do it?
He's full of joy. And I wanted to mention that when he was first skiing like that, he was skiing on the skis that we had. And he knew that he could do more if he built a better ski, and he figured out how to do that. But he's a joyful person, and it shows in his kids and his love for his kids and his friends and how he is. And skiing's lucky to have him.
Absolutely. And now the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame is lucky to have Bobbie Burns as a new honored member. You know, as the hall is constantly expanding, Justin, with legends like Bobbie Burns, you know, just go through some of the artifacts that you have right up behind you. You have a pair of Bobbie Burns skis right there with you.
Yeah, we've got several pairs. These are the TRSs, and that wasn't mounted. It looks like it had some sort of weird mount on it. It looks like it was done as we've got a few of these that are done like a single water ski, where you've got both boots put on one ski for some reason on that one. But we just auctioned off the puppet version, I believe it's called, that Phil and Trisha did over at skitalk.com. That was signed by Alan Schoenberger. We've probably got 3 or 4 other pair of these upstairs. The old Spademan binding, of course, on most of them. This is really like a cult following, you know, just like, you know, the sweaters, the gear, like Genya said, along with the skis, and really a timeless logo. I mean, look at that would go today, or does go today. Look, they didn't change it at all on that Scott, and it's just it's retro, but yet it's cool, it's simple, it's fun. You know, it all makes sense when you look at that video of Bobbie with his with his sort of ski bum van out there with all the skis laid out. You know, it really makes stuff like this make sense when you look at it. That's what's really cool about history and some of these archives. We've got a lot of really neat stuff here, and all made possible by people, you know, like Dick, like Genya, certainly like Bobbie Burns, who pioneered it. The fact that you can go and ski on something and say, I like these are okay, these work for me, but I'm pretty sure I could ski a little bit better if I could just work on these layers of ski myself and revolutionize things. I think I could ski maybe just a little bit better, Dan.
I love it. If you go to skihall.com, you can see the wide berth of characters from all over the winter sports industry that are in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. As Justin is sitting there in the hall in Ishpeming, Michigan, behind him, there's that big wooden ski. There's a snurfer, and there's the Bobbie Burns ski, the ski. We're joined tonight by ski racer, coach, and ski school director Dick Dorworth, and of course we're with Genya Fuller, world champion and mogul skier competitor, and all around amazing person who even had a career in country music. And Genya, you got to tell me about that. I did not know.
I went to LA in 70-ish to see what I could do with music, because everything I'd done with sports involved music. So, you know, I'm more of a technical person, so I like things. And I got into a great workshop with Phil Moore, who happened to be Lena Horne's arranger, and it was for singers only. And it was fabulous. It worked on, you know, intros, outros, mic technique, all this stuff. We did showcases in and around the cool places in LA, the back lot, the Hyatt on Sunset, the Whiskey, all these places, the Palomino Club. And so I entered this contest run by KLAC radio station. I submitted a tape, and they had about 600 submissions, and I ended up being one of the top 6 that they chose to compete. So we all went up to Magic Mountain one weekend, and we had to do rounds of competition. And I ended up being a finalist. It was myself and another gentleman, and we opened for the Gatlin brothers that night at Magic Mountain. And I had written one of the songs that I competed with and ended up winning. But the weirdest thing was people that followed the competition all weekend were actually singing my song as I'm singing it. I'm sitting there going, but you don't know this song. You don't know this song. But they've been listening all weekend. And then I did a lot of studio stuff, a lot of band stuff. My favorite things that I did were background vocals for a lot of the major R&B groups like Rolls Royce and War, and the Shy Lights, the Moments, the Manhattans, just incredible artists. And, you know, I like a challenge. So blending and making, you know, enhancing their performance was a blast. So I got to do a lot of fun things.
A pioneer all the way around, one of the original American Idols. Genya Fuller, right there. Dick, when was the last time you skied with Bobbie?
Probably 6-8 years ago. He hasn't skied the last couple of years, and it's been a few years. And but you know, the last 20 years, we every now and then we'll run into each other. I think Bobbie and Charlie and I even took a run or two together at some point and over this last time. But I haven't skied with him in a few years. Yeah.
What do you remember about skiing with him? Oh,
he's fun. He's fun to ski with. He's fun to ride the lift with. He's having a good time, and it rubs off on the people around him, unless, as Charlie pointed out, some people he rubs wrong, and that's their problem, not Bobbie's.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys, I've had that same criticism thrown on me. but it's great that you guys really, over the years, when it comes to being inducted into the U.S. Skiing Hall of Fame, Bobbie Burns was a name that would often come up. Why isn't Bobbie Burns in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame? And now he is, and rightfully so. And it's nice that the influence and the friends that he's had. This is really one big family, don't you think, Jenya?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was lucky enough. I had gotten back on snow in 2011 when we were up in Sun Valley for the Hall of Fame event. And there was a whole group of us that skied together. Bobbie was one of them. And it was just, I was like a little kid, on a Sugar Crisp or something, because I was so excited to take a run with Bobbie. And we were giggling, we were laughing, it was just one of the most fun runs I've ever had in my life. By the time we got to the bottom, we were just all about to fall over. We were all laughing so hard. It was just, I know I've said it all through this interview, joyful, and you can't escape that with him.
You really can't. And it's nice to be part of this big family. And Justin, we all look to you to guide us into the future. And we thank you for all that you do for the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. And I thank you three, Charlie, Genya, and Dick, for joining us here in the Legends Lounge. Dick, you said that you skied today, and I love that. And when you get off the lift and you buckle up and boot up and head off down the hill, can you just explain to us how much you still love the ski?
Yeah, today, because of the COVID thing, on skis in about 10 months. And also because of the COVID thing, I haven't been able to do my normal routine of going to gyms and working out and all that kind of thing. So today when I got to Sun Valley, my favorite place to ski, on the lift, I was going, well, I wonder if I can still do this. You have question yourself, or I do anyway, all the time.
Yep.
And I got to the top of Baldy, beautiful, beautiful day. And, I made the first 3 or 4 turns and I can still ski, and it's wonderful. And it just brings me something that nothing else does, just going up and sliding around the mountain and watching I just saw those videos of Bobbie skiing on Baldy while I skied runs today, and they were better groomed today than when he was there. But it's beautiful, and it just brings you to the center of yourself, and skiing's always done that for me. Yeah, still does.
We're bringing it back to the center right here in the Legends Lounge in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. Of course, I'm Dan Egan, your host. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here in the Legends at the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.